Overall, I kind of dig it, but it could be.
Son, what are you watching there?
Well, Dad, it's Larry Arts Productions, home to many types of content, including stop motions, reviews, unboxings, and other types of videos.
I knew getting the internet for my kid was a mistake.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the ISRC Race Car Graveyard Truck Series. Monday night, it is ready for some racing action on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. The drivers last week found themselves going to Japan for Twin Ring Motegi, where that of John Forbes broke that of the streak of having 4 races and 4 different drivers, becoming the first multi-time winner. And the 11 looking strong as he's coming to a track where he thought he was going to get a win all the way back in season 1. It didn't happen that go around, but here in season 4, maybe an opportune chance is awry here tonight, as it is going to be the Larry Art Productions Throwback 170 Part 3 for that of Larry Art Productions, and a big shout out to that of Larry Arts. Tonight's a special night for him, as he's going to be giving away $25 to a scheme that he likes. That is going to be the throwback night. And as well, happy birthday to Larry, as tonight is his birthday, and we're hoping that you're having a good one. As again, you're getting all the coverage here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. My name is Sam Dyer, and with me is Zach Hall. Zach, welcome to Monday night. Man, a good weekend, and it's time for us to get some good racing on screen.
Good racing indeed, Sam. Yeah, I'm excited for this one, man. This track is the track that's too tough to tame. The Lady in Black, Darlington, South Carolina is where it all goes down here tonight. And super cool to see them bring this track back to the schedule after they raced it in season 1, where we had a pretty epic ending to that show. I think we could see something similar on course here for tonight. But as they get ready here as practice ends and they head into qualifying, we're going to get to see who can put themselves up front, because this track has always been known as one of the tougher tracks to make passes happen. So this qualifying session is going to be super important.
And drivers certainly have been trying to figure out how to figure out this track overall, mainly because the exit of the corner is always one of the tougher places to be, as well as just trying to find your place on this course. Again, talked about how we were just in Japan last week for Twin Ring Motegi. That track was actually made because Japan and all the engineers loved Darlington, the way that this track was set up. And now we head to that at Darlington here tonight. Qualifying is underway. The driver's going to be having themselves 2 laps to put down their fastest time, as well as they're going to have 5 minutes to do so. But Zach, putting in a time here could be a tricky thing as drivers are getting themselves revved up here.
That it really can be, Sam. It can be a tough place to not make a major mistake here. I've talked to a few guys actually, and on these colder tires, this truck is wanting to definitely spin out on them. It is very tough, and you can already see there Barrick upholding that 17. He's into the outside wall. He's going to have to reset back to pit road. But I see another car there having to reset, and that just shows you how tough this track is, because you can easily just get into that wall. Even a slight contact with the wall, getting that 0x, as they say on iRacing, to get that wall contact, that will eliminate your lap time. It'll completely take it out of your chances there, and that could really take away a lot of chance for you to qualify where you need to here tonight. So we'll see how the drivers attack these laps. I think the fastest laps surprisingly are going to come on the bottom of 3 and 4. I've been watching a little bit of practice, and it seems like that's been the preferred way around from previous, where we used to run right against the wall. You can see here at Ethan Smith about there on that seam on the very bottom, ripping that here as he comes out of 4. We'll see what type of lap he can produce, as right now is Trenton Jump atop the board.
As Eric Stamp going to be taken away, Trenton jumped, ripping it right away from himself, and now Ethan Smith, you talked about where he wanted to place that truck, hit his marks, and now going to take the pole award for the tie 00. But a driver that's actually going to be affiliated with that of Larry Art Productions now takes the top of the board. It's Danny Cochran, as we only have 11 drivers that have put in a time so far, as we have over 30 trucks getting ready to prepare themselves for tonight's event. As here comes that of the 28 machine of Matthew Gilliams, who's now going to be trying his best to exit out of the corner and try to get at least 1 lap in here tonight.
Got to get a lap in for sure here, because you don't want to start at the rear of this field. That will be so tough to come back from, especially with how it plays out here tonight. We got a stage at lap 50. No issues when it comes to making it on fuel there. So if we do go green, you'll see these drivers having to stretch it all the way to lap 50. The thing they'll be concerned most about there is those tires. The Goodyear tires are going to get worn out this track, known to be one of the most abrasive out there, as we watch Gilliams continue to put down his first lap. The first one will put him on 17th, and now drops down to 18th. We'll see if this second lap picks up for him, where most drivers have found that speed that they need.
as this egg course without a turns 1 and 2, much lot longer in that of the length that you have to travel around, much narrower on the side of 3 and 4, and across the line for the 28 machine. He was 18th, bump him up to 11th, and as well, actually you could drop him down to 12th because that is Cedric Hunter going to move up to 3rd place. That's once he is done with his 3 laps. And here comes Christopher Norris in the 38 machine, and we starting out his qualifying time.
Another cool thing about Darlington, in my opinion, especially when you have these throwback races, you get the throwback schemes. So we're getting to see a good portion of those here tonight under Danny Cochran. He's rocking the Kevin Harvick paint scheme, thrown back to him as it's his last season in the Cup Series. So that is cool to see there for himself as we're watching Christopher Norris. Can he get the time he needs with that 29.75 right now in 22nd place as he comes across the line here? We'll see where it throws him on the board, as he'll be looking to find a pickup, and he'll take him up to 20th. So not the pickup he was looking for.
That 38 machine actually was running that of a 1995 Craftsman Truck Series car. That was Sam Swindell's 38 machine back in the day. As here comes a driver with a legendary scheme. It's the 7 of Cody Smith, running that of Dale Earnhardt Sr.'s old colorful machine as he's drifted out of the corner and somehow holds on. It's Cody Smith there as he's starting lap number 1.
That right there was a good job by Cody Smith not to wreck that machine. That's going to kill a lot of momentum here on this first lap, but the first lap is not the one that matters the most. Once that tire heat builds up, the second lap's better as he gets into the wall there coming off of 2. He's going to have to reset here quickly when he gets down to 3 and 4 to make sure he gets a good run out of 4 to set up for that final lap for qualifying, because if he does get into that wall again on the next lap, that will invalidate both times and he'll be starting to really just feel.
And sad thing here, Zach crosses the line, but he only has 5 seconds left in qualifying. It takes about 30 to go around this oval course. As you see him disappear, qualifying is done. Cody Smith will not put a qualifying time in, and because of his low I rating, the 7, who was hoping to qualify up in the top 20, will drop him all the way down to last place. Tough pill to swallow for that of the 7 machine, as we're done with qualifying. The drivers are stacking up and gridding up. Let's take a look at the qualifying results here tonight as the drivers are getting set for the Larry Art Productions Throwback 170. And it's going to be the 2 machine of Danny Cochran going to be taking that pole award as he's trying to catch up to that of Mark Whitley, who has the most poles. Well, now Danny, a career of 9 poles counting tonight with Mark's 10. Mark Whitley going to be to his outside, though, from 77 for 2nd place. Cedric Hunter going to be in 3rd. That of Noah Steele going to be in 4th. Nick Crawford in 5th. The 00 of Ethan Smith in 6th. Trenton Jump in 7th. John Forbes, who finished 2nd here all the way back in season 1, they'll be in 8th place, with that of Joshua Kanata in 9th, and Cody Reed finishing out our top 10.
In the 11th position, it's going to be the 53 of Eric Stamp. Matthew Gilliam's going to be in 12th. GT Azari in the 14th. He's going to start 13th with Ali Fonseca in 14th. 15th is going to go to Joshua Altice with Barrick holding the 17 machine in the 16th position. 17th is going to be Jordan Smeets. John McAdams is in 18th. 19th is going to be Ryan Crowfoot, and rounding out the top 20 is the 38 of Christopher Norris.
And in 21st position, it's the 91 of Mark Morales with Kyle Tate in 22nd position. Kyle Rochelle going to be in 23rd with Dakota Moniz in 24th. Justin Smith in 25th. Tyler Dangler in 26th position with Tyler Horn in 27th. 28th goes to Malik Kuntz. And in that of 29th, it's going to be Logan Brakey and Joshua Freed finishing out our top 30.
And the last 4 cars on our 34 truck field here is Zachary Peterson in 31st. 32nd is going to be Austin Halsey. Matt Upbrook in the 15th, going to start 33rd. And Cody Smith going to round out the field in 34th.
34 trucks ready to tackle this very tough track. Deemed too tough to tame, or otherwise the Lady in Black. It is a tough track where drivers are going to have to be worrying for themselves, especially that outside wall. Darlington's known, when you scrub that outside wall, it's known as a Darlington stripe because it happens so commonly. And Zach up front, Danny Cochran, Mark Whitley, they get to be in the more preferred spot, but what are you expecting for these restarts for these drivers at this track?
Restarts are always a very troublesome time here when it comes to Darlington, especially because when you head down the 1 and 2, in my opinion, it's one of the toughest corners in all on the NASCAR circuit to go side by side, especially in the entry of 1. 1 just always seems like the truck never wants to make that corner, just wants to go straight into the wall. So when you go into that corner side by side, it is very hair-raising. So these drivers are going to have to be very calm here to start this race. Maybe even give up that position if someone's to your inside just to fall in line, because you can quickly end up in that outside barrier that could ruin your night, because any little bit of damage, it's going to take downforce off these trucks that'll equate to a lot of speed.
And drivers on the restart have to make sure they get into the Geico restart zone right now. They're going to see the pace car pull off. They got a little while before they can truly take off for themselves. But already the anticipation is building. The 2, the 77. They know it's time to ramp it up into the Geico restart zone. And we are green for the Larry Art Productions Throwback 170 here tonight.
And Mark Whitley on the top side of the 77. Great start for him. They're going to go side by side for the lead down into 1. And we'll see who can fight it out of 2 here as it gets very tight on the exit. Both of them dropping it low. And Danny Cochran, he's sliding and he's spinning.
He's sliding. He's going to be trying to stay off the rest of the field. He drifts up in front, but luckily no one making contact with the 2 machine. Further on back there are drivers bickering with one another. That's Kyle Tate and Justin Smith, who couldn't get off of one another. But man, already the 2 machine struggling to find the grip. And Zach, that was something that we knew was going to be an issue to watch out for. And the 2 brings out our first caution before lap 1 is even done.
Those cold tires are so tough to deal with, and that's what Danny Cochran was playing with. He was on the bottom. He didn't have the room to really open up that exit to the turn 2 there, and it really bit him right there in front of the field. I mean, on pole position, that's a tough pill to swallow personally for him, as he's going to be dropping pretty much to the rear of this field and hopefully be in front a good portion of them because of the way of the timing of the caution, but he'll be really back mired in around the 21st position after all of that. And you can see here, this is what happened after it. It was the 26, Tyler Horn, who got in the back of Justin Smith. That kind of got him and Kyle Tate into each other, and from there they just kind of bounced into the inside wall and came together. So tough break for those drivers, just trying to get woed up from the incident all the way from that first lead position.
And luckily, no incident was officially made between all those drivers, as they're going to be able to settle in, no required damage, so they're going to be able to continue to race on. We are expecting tonight to have 34 drivers racing. That's the amount that we had signed up. Officially taking the green, only 32 drivers, as Matt Uppbrook not able to get into the session as he was struggling, and Austin Halsey has also called it a night for themselves. Matt Uppbrook going to be trying to get back into the session as he's been disconnected, but we'll see if he can do so as the drivers up front. Early caution, you have to settle back in. But Zach, this track, I know in other vehicles, especially in the trucks as well, tire spin also is going to be a factor. On the cold tires, they're going to be even colder now with that early caution.
Completely agree, Sam. That is going to be a huge factor here tonight. As the tires wear, those restart zone restarts will get very, very treacherous. But not only that, when you have a quick yellow like that on the first lap of the race, I mean, we already seen Danny Cochran. He set on the pole position. He was the fastest driver there in that qualifying session, so you know he's got a good hold on how the grip level is going to be, and he spins it from the front of the field. So that just shows you any of these drivers could be sitting in that same position here with even cooler tires than the previous restart. So they're going to have to keep that in mind when they get down and go into 1, and especially off the exit of that turn 2 corner. They're going to have to think, what do I want to risk here early in the race, especially with how tough it is just to pass and get track position in this race with, Danny Cochran back to 20th position after that. That is a very tough hill to climb up through, especially with how fast this field is and how close everybody is in pace. It's going to be a while before we see that 2 back in position again.
And as well, want to give that update on drivers deeper in the field having to come into pit road. That of Justin Smith, Kyle Tate, both going to be staying for extended time for repairs. Malik Kuntz, as well as that of Tyler Holmes, coming into pit road, just topping off on fuel, as that of Ryan Crowfoot into pit road, getting service done for the 12 machine, as it was also damage repair for the 12. So a couple of drivers coming into pit road. Was touching on the fact of Matt Uppbrook missing the start of this race. He is back out on track. He's going to be a total of 3 laps down. So the 15 going to need a couple of very quick cautions to get back into the racing here, but at least made it to the session, making us officially 33 drivers here tonight.
And very lucky also that caution came out in the very first lap. He would have been multiple laps down. I mean, more than 3, which is a tough hill to already climb back up over. But he would have been probably 5, 6, maybe even 7 laps down if this race would have stayed green. So You got to take it with a pinch of salt, I'd say, here for that 15 team to see if they can get back in position for the rest of this race. But now another restart coming up. That 77 Mark Whitley, you see he's elected from the lead position to take the outside lane. He got a great restart up there from second last time by. So I expect him to be looking for a similar thing here on this restart, but we'll see how that bottom lane fares. You got Cedric Hunter, Nick Crawford, the two teammates there in that second and third position. Can they be able to hold on to their spots, or does that outside prevail like it almost did right there before?
And then behind them is also going to be that of Trenton Jump and also Noah Steele, teammates from the Armadillos Racing team. Going to be settling in. Teamwork is going to be a factor to watch out for, because even behind them, you got another cluster of teammates for the Blackjack Racing. And it's Mark Whitley hoping to defend as the teammates behind are revving and ready to go. Let's try this restart out, as let's see if we also can complete one lap here tonight. Mark Whitley, a great launch for himself. Cedric Hunter going to be have plenty of space to move up. It's side-by-side action for that of fourth place behind.
The Armadillos are battling here through 1 and 2. It's the 46 of Trenton Jump taking advantage of the restart, and the outside or inside lane, I should say, prevails there as Noah Steele drops back that one position from his teammate there. So great job by Trenton Jump there to utilize the inside lane. But here through 3 and 4, this is the corner that's going to give the most opportunity for these drivers to move around and find the grip levels here early in the start of this race.
As a couple of the drivers deeper in the field having to avoid the 91 of Mark Morales, who had a terrible exit at turn 2 and losing over that of 12 positions for the 91. He will now be trying to resettle as everyone else single filing out, and this is exactly where they want to be, trying to get into a groove, figure out this racetrack. Being single file is a great sign that we could be seeing some long green flag runs as the drivers have the stage break at the end of lap 50. Let's see if we can get some momentum in as up front. Again, all single filed out. It's the back half of the field. They're still trying to figure out their bickering.
It's all stacked up in this back half here as everybody tries to find some grip. We've seen some smoke there. That was from somebody getting into that outer wall there in 1 and 2. Can they keep it together though for right now? As you can see this group, they got Cody Smith, who's gained a ton through all of this wrecks here. He's up to 22nd after starting 34th. And now you can see the side-by-side action here farther back in the field through 3 and 4. They're going to keep it side-by-side because that outside lane can work there, but it's just known to really hurt the tires.
It's going to be that of Logan Brakey as well as Tyler Dengler that you're seeing on screen, the 19, the 29, as they're also seeing drivers bouncing off the wall in front of them. That's Zachary Peterson in the 96, struggling to hold on, and thought he was going to bounce off the exit of turn 2. Luckily does not, as Tyler Dengler going to throw it down. It looks like the 19 forcing to go to pit road. Does not look comfortable as that 19 machine, as he's actually just letting everyone go on by.
Yeah, I think that was a game plan to say, I see what's going on here. Let's get out of this situation here early in this event. So, that's not the worst call when you're farther back in the field there for that 19. So we'll see if he can recover from that, or does it work out in his favors. You see a few drivers like Eric Stamp there letting them go around the outside. I mean, this is a track that they say you have to race the racetrack and not your competition. So you're going to see where a lot of tracks you don't just give a position to a driver when they're side by side with you. You're going to see that probably a good majority of the night until we get down to the final 30 or 40 laps of this race where you really got to go for everything.
As Eric Stamp is battling for himself, trying to keep up inside of the top 10. A teammate of his that is the biggest mover inside of the top 10. It's second place runner Trenton Jump trying to battle for the lead. Is that of the 46 machine? And Trenton Jump, he got a great restart. He came up to that of up to 4th, and he's already made that a couple of passes now with the second place, and now about to challenge our leader.
That he really is here, Sam. This is interesting to see. He passed Nick Crawford, he passed Cedric Hunter, and now he's right on the back bumper of Mark Whitley. I do get concerned here at Darlington. This is a place that has, just tremendous amounts of fall off when it comes to tire wear. And with it being a 50-lap stage here, you're going to have a really good long-run grasp on the rest of this field. If you feel like you can just go out there, make passes, and use those tires up, we'll see how well he can do it. It's going to be tough in the dirty air also, as once he's got Mark Whitley, and it seems like Mark Whitley is willing to fight him off. But if he does go out here and use up too much tire, he could be struggling here in the next 20 laps.
And with that of tire wear being such an issue to watch out for, I'm curious if there's going to be someone deeper in the field, maybe someone that's inside of our top 15 that could really try to shine and move forward as we continue to stay on the 46, seeing him get closer and closer to that back bumper on the entry, but it just seems like Mark Whitley a lot more willing to just send it into the corners, and that's allowing him to keep this momentum.
Yeah, he really is looking to send that into the corner and just carry more momentum than the 46 is, where it seems like the 46 is trying everything he can. But again, once you get in that dirty air of that, in that wake of the 77, it's just so tough to not slide the front tires and lose that grip level that you always try to have here. So we could, like you very well, like you said, Sam, there, see someone farther back in this pack really utilize being patient and be able to make up spots here later in this run, because in my opinion it is a little bit easier to pass than in previous years here at Darlington, because this bottom line in 3 and 4 is much more readily available than before, whereas it used to be right against the wall, and when you're right against that wall, it's kind of very hard to pass unless you can get to the outside first.
We're seeing a couple of times, it just seems like a good exit. That's when the 46 goes into the bumper, but I get underneath. It's so close to the outside wall, the apex of 1 and 2 onto the backstretch, roaring their way down into turn number 3. Mark Whitley, who's been one of the favorites to watch out for these last couple of seasons, continues the lead. But we look back to that at 3rd place, a driver that finished last season 2nd overall in the championship hunt. It's the 13, Cedric Hunter.
That it is here, Sam. I think he's going to be one to watch here for the longer runs. He normally is not the greatest qualifier. We normally see him start around the 13th to 14th position and work his way up with the longer the runs go. With him qualifying up front here tonight, he could be a huge threat here for later in this race. He's also got his teammate there, Nick Crawford, right there in the 4th position, with Noah Steele not too far behind to round out that top 5. So a great top 5 here to start this event.
Watching these drivers, I mean, this is a curious group that we're watching. I know Mark Whitley, he was a part of that original group that got to run here all the way back in season 1, but the last 2 seasons, season 2 and 3, this league has not ran at Darlington. And so a lot of the drivers that we're seeing in this league group are drivers that never got to run in season 1, and it's great to see them performing so well, such as that at Trenton Jump, Cedric Hunter, Nick Crawford, Noah Steele. You got to follow it back to 6th place and 7th, where you see that at Blackjack Racing drivers that were here back in that of season 1, getting to have their chances to run here. But you're looking even deeper in the field. Here's the 16 of Joshua Kanata in 9th place. Also, Joshua Altis, who's cracked the top 10, getting by Eric Stamp. We're starting to see a little bit more movement back here in the 10th place position.
Movement is definitely happening here farther back in the field, and drivers are finding ways to pass. I talked about how tough this place can be to pass, but the drivers have done really an excellent job so far, in my opinion, to really make things happen and move themselves forward. As we're checking out the 14 right now, GT Rosari. This is actually a throwback to Clint Boyer here that he's running, so a great looking scheme there in that 14 machine.
Looking great for himself, and all the throwback schemes that we've been able to see. You talked about that of the Kevin Harvick scheme for Danny Cochran. Danny on the move to try to rebound for himself, losing a position to that of Kyle Rochelle in front of him. As you see that very bright yellow highlighter scheme of the 21, so easy to be seen. As you see that 2 machine of Danny Cochran, he did not have those scrapes before that last restart. He spun out and was just on his own. That is some damage the 2 has been collecting on his journey to try to get back inside of just the top 15.
That he has, man. That is a tough thing to see here. We'll see how he can recover from that. He was making some positions up as he lost that one to Rochelle, but damage here can be detrimental. This place is all about downforce, all about making speed here and having the grip to keep it in the track. And when you don't do that, it ends up being very bad very quickly for some of these drivers. So tough break for Danny, who qualified on pole, spun out early and got into that wall. But as you can see here, Christopher Norris, he started back here in this 20th position at the moment, still riding here with John McAdam, and they're directly ahead of him in the 19 or 47.
And John McAdams, usually known as a very good super speedway driver, as he's won all the way back in season 2 at Talladega. As we get to see that of Christopher Norris riding and in main focus for himself, trying to keep his focus on the screen, how to tackle this track, as you can see on that bottom right of that of Christopher Norris's camera. And Zach, this 38 certainly has been trying to grow and get faster each and every season. The consistency has been looking great at other tracks, but Darlington, you look through the field, there's a couple of drivers that we've seen the last 2 or 3 weeks look so strong, kind of quote-unquote struggling because they're in the second half of the field.
This place can be just so tough for certain people. I mean, talked to Christopher actually before this race, and he said his concern was staying out of that wall, and what I can see from that right side of that truck, he has gotten into the wall, and it's a pretty good bit of damage there on that right front that he's received, more than Danny Cochran definitely had. So it's not what you want to see. When you split those fenders up, that's where you lose the downforce in the grip in the truck. So these drivers still trying to figure this track out, because it's just, again, one of the toughest ones out there on the circuit. Is now we hop on board with that 29 Logan Brakey here in the 22nd position for himself. So we'll see how he can fare tonight, as he's already worked his way up from 29th.
Yeah, able to move up a couple of positions forward. That Logan Brakey up 7 spots, and behind him also that Cody Smith up 10 positions. He started all the way back in last place, as this 29 machine trying his best to stay out of trouble. And there's trouble actually on the back stretch. It's the 16 of Joshua Kanata. Hard contact to the inside wall, and he is off the racing line. No yellow. He has to take a tow to pit road.
And he actually disconnects. He went complete, just said tonight's over, and he's out of here. So that's going to put Kanata all the way back to the 32nd position. And in 3 laps, Matt Oakbrook will be behind to put him back to 33rd. So tough break for Kanata, who was really on a roll after a great run at Motegi last week.
And I went back and rewatched it myself. It was almost identical. If you were here for the first lap, seeing Danny Cochran get loose out of 2, it was identical on the fact that he didn't brush the wall, just dropped down and hit the wall, was not able to keep it off the inside wall, and that damage too much. And Kanata has called it a night already, as Ethan Smith and others who are getting caught by the 16, they can have now a little bit of a deep breath and recognize, all right, we can just settle in and see how the rest of this race can move forward. But that is a big contender that is now out of this race.
Quickly out of contention for sure for Kanata there, as he was definitely running those guys down. And even looking at some of these lap times the last few times by, Ethan Smith has been one of the fastest cars on the racetrack. So we'll see how the 00 can make stuff happen here tonight, because he's getting closed in on that 8 machine to see if he can break into the top 5 here for the Tide machine.
And also going to be the 11 looking at the times. He's John Forbes looking strong. Touched on that when we had the top of the broadcast. That 11, if you look back, that first race back in season 1, 6th race of the league's history, that 11 looked to be the driver to beat. Caught up with some lap traffic carnage and was not able to get the win, but obviously he's going to be a driver to watch out for when we get deeper into this race. But we're past halfway until our stage break. Again, stage break at the end of lap 50 here tonight. And John Forbes looking quicker than our leader, and he is looking to be actually one of the fastest trucks on track. But Zach, the cost of giving up too much time could be what's hurting the 11 right now.
It very well could be. I mean, he's 4.5 seconds back off the lead, and he's got to pass multiple trucks to get up there. And we're already starting lap 30 here, so we'll be coming up to 20 to go next time by. That's going to be a tough, place to come back from. But if he can get in a few spots, get some track position, he's definitely got some speed here for the longer portions of these races. So that'll be great for him to see. And then also another great sight to see, here's the 28 of Gilliams. He's closed in on Ali Fonseca. We'll see if he can start to make something happen in the 28 here to get up in the 9th.
As Ali Fonseca driving that Jeff Gordon, that of Rainbow Warrior scheme, as he continues to ride around in that hot laps designs, as they're also going to be trying to close in on the gap on Cody Reed. And as they're closing in on these battles, the lead position also could be at threat. Mark Whitley, his contender of Trenton Jump, has fallen back to 3rd. It's now Cedric Hunter who's closing in on our leader.
I tell you, I know Cedric so well. This is one of his tracks where he is just so good on the long run, and he's so methodical and waits for it to come to him. And what I'm seeing here is he's already starting to find a little bit of speed over that 77. Now, last time by it was only 0.02 of a second. But if he can get within distance, he puts the pressure on that 77 not to make mistakes. And that's where I think this 13 can shine, as he's continuously closing the gap down now to under 0.5 seconds. We'll see if he can get by this 77 and go for a stage win.
And Zach, as we're watching the closing in to the end of this stage, I have just gotten a report from Joshua Kanata himself. It was a VR crash system. That's why he dropped as quickly as he did down to the inside pit and inside wall. And that's why he got disconnected instantly. You hate to see that for the 16. That is something that's been going around of drivers having VR issues, and it strikes another driver here tonight.
That is so tough to see there for Kanata, who was having such a good run, and it's something we've seen a lot in the past few weeks. You know, it's got to be frustrating for a driver, and they'll try to bounce back from it the best they can, but it's one of those things that's out of your control, and you're really just hoping doesn't plague you when you go into a race. But right now, it still seems like the lead is still closing in, and Cedric Hunter will have a chance here. He's got time. He just needs to methodically do it, because you can't once you start catching somebody, that's the thing as a driver, you start to try a little bit harder to catch them because you see you're reeling them in. You gotta pull those reins back sometimes and just not overdrive the truck and keep that grip level underneath you, because what you're doing is still making speed. You just got to keep continuing.
And also, you know, for some of these drivers, they've got data telemetry that's giving them real in-time data of how fast they're running. If they're running faster than the person in front of them or the whole entire field, how much they're running faster than them or slower. Some drivers can get a little bit too giddy, and I think there might have been a few in the middle of the field that were getting a little bit too giddy. For that, John Forbes, he is starting to lose touch of that speed that he once had before, but still seeing some drivers making those charges forward. We're 36 laps in, finding ourselves with just 15 laps to go before the stage break is upon us. Top 10 drivers going to get bonus points. Stage winner gets 10 bonus points. Second place gets 9. Continues to drop down by 1 point after that. As for that of, you know, seeing 10th place, only get that 1 bonus point. Matthew Gilliam's in that spot as he is being caught by GT Urizari. But for the lead is the closest it's been since we last talked about John Forbes and Mark Whitley. But Zach, could it be the dirty air once again saving Mark on this attempt?
The dirty air is just so tough. I mean, you can see it. They're coming up the lap traffic, so Mark's going to get a little bit of air here, too, also on his nose. So that will, if Cedric Hunter can pounce here and get the runs, you see the run off of turn 2, just an immaculate one for him there. So he's going to close in almost to the back bumper. And as they come up on this lap traffic, it's going to put air right on the nose of that 77. He actually washes up the racetrack. This could be good opportunities here if you're Cedric Hunter, but you got to be smart also getting through traffic here, not try to race too hard, because that can quickly end both of your nights here. But yeah, that dirty air is just so tough, man. Once you get to somebody, it's almost like your truck completely changes, and you got to change every little thing you're doing. Is Mark going to be tough here on this exit with the lapper?
Oh, it's no contact for the leaders, and once again, it's Cody Smith getting in front of Mark Whitley for that of the second time this season. And it's going to be Cedric Hunter, Mark Whitley, contact between themselves as they were trying to get around lap traffic.
You just can't do that. I mean, I understand you're trying to get out the way, but you got to hold your lane right there on the exit of the corner. You can't just jump out of the way right when they get to you. It's hard to react when you're catching somebody that fast, and that just catches out both our leaders who are having a great battle and both just taken out by a silly mistake from a lap car.
And that is, you know, I got to say, that's terrible to see for our leaders, but for that of Ryan Crowfoot, he gave up the positioning, went a lap down, gifting it away. And because of the fact that Cody Smith was right in front of our leaders and made our leaders wreck, he's going to get the lucky dog and back on the lead lap, as we're going to be settling in. Drivers immediately hitting pit road now.
Yeah, everybody going to come here to pit road to get those tires on this truck, because, you know, no reason not to. You got 5 sets here tonight, 4 in pit road. You need 1 here also coming up at that stage break. So you could have still 2 sets, and it will be a 1-stop race after the stage. So you have plenty of sets of tires. You actually have 1 extra set if you take 1 here again at the stage break. But just a tough break. I mean, the damage that Mark Whitley and Cedric Hunter have both received off of that is a huge thing, because, again, that makes so much speed when you come here to Darlington. We'll see how they can recover from this incident.
As drivers hitting pit road, 1 driver is going to stay out. That's going to be Dakota Moniz, hoping to get a lap led, a bonus point for the 5 machine. Everyone else hitting pit road, expecting 4 tires and fuel for all of them, as, like you said, 4 sets of tires in pit road for themselves. No fast repairs Will Mark Whitley and Cedric Hunter decide to stay in pit road longer for those repairs for themselves? It's going to be a pretty tough decision to make, as looks to be pit road extended time for Cedric Hunter. Mark Whitley's going to lose out some time to that Trenton jump. Zach, it's going to be less than 10 laps to go before the stage break, and they're going to be on new tires. Going to be slick, cold, and here we go. Will they hold on this restart?
We will have to see, my friend. I mean, yeah, Mark Whitley did lose that lead to Trenton Jump by taking a little bit of that repair, but he did not do the same amount of repair that Cedric Hunter had. I do think Cedric Hunter's damage was a little bit worse as he got into the outside wall a little bit hard, or that inside hit from him and Mark Whitley was a little bit harder than the outside wall for Mark Whitley. But we'll see how those have effects on these drivers. I mean, it's one of those things where sometimes the damage, yeah, it can be a good bit of an effect, and then sometimes it really doesn't affect you at all. So we'll see how that affects them here, but interesting calls all around here from that group, because Cedric Hunter is going to be all the way back in the 14th position here in this restart. So it's going to be tough to see if he can even get some stage points.
As drivers going to be taking a wave around for themselves. Expected to be that of Matt Upbrook and Tyler Horn that decide to stay out, but we'll at least get a lap back. And for Matt Upbrook, that's going to make him only 2 laps down. Tyler Horn, who had to make a unexpected pit stop, expected him to go back into pit road for some more damage repair for that of the 26, as it's going to be Trenton Jump, Mark Whitley up front, ready to tackle on this restart. Want to give a shout out to sponsors for the ISRC Truck Series, and it's going to be their title sponsor of Race Car Graveyard. Race Car Graveyard, one of the best places to go if you want to start collecting that of diecast, as they've got plenty from their collection of 1/24th ratios to 1/64th ratios, from new, used, and custom. Get them now today. Go to Instagram and go to @RaceCarGraveyard, all together as one word, and as well use their promo code RCGY for 10% off on your next purchase, as they are stacking up, ready to get rolling. A few drivers also coming in pit road for another pit stop. Going to be Cedric Hunter, that of Jordan Schmeets, as well as that of Eric Stamp. Going to be get some extra fuel, maybe some more damage repair, Zach, as the rest of the field ready for this restart.
We will have to see how that works out for those few drivers. I mean, can they say, the only question I have is, can you ride around slow enough to save the tire to be able to jump everybody with track position wise? That's going to be a tough thing, I think, to do if they're looking to possibly do something like that. But we'll have to see, because this is going to be a shootout now. Mark Whitley, Trenton Jump, and Trenton Jump was so fast in the short run, I think it's going to be tough for that 77 to get around him.
As pace car pulls off, it's time for us to get back to racing here tonight for the Larry Art Productions Throwback 170, as they are having race number 6 here at Darlington. The stage break at the end of lap 50, and we're back to Green Flag Racing here tonight.
Wiggle, wiggle there, start for Trenton Jump, as he had the tire spin off that restart, and he holds on to that position after getting a pretty good restart after spinning those tires. So we'll see, can Mark Whitley amount to something here to be able to try to get up here and take that position back to get the stage win that he was in position for. But it's going to be tough to do that. We've seen Trenton Jump, how quick he was there on that first shorter run of this race. But here comes the 00. Here comes the 8 Noah Steele and John Forbes right directly behind him.
And this is going to be the perfect time. Hey, did I use or save too much of my tires? It's time to just send it. Who is going to finish in the top 10? Logan Brakey's the cutoff driver for himself, but he's also going to be having that of GT Rizari, Danny Cochran, and others. Maybe they'll try to close it on the gap, but right now it's looking good for Trenton Jump, who's already up to a half a second gap lead to Mark Whitley.
Just an excellent jump out for him, man. So that 46 is flying right now and having every opportunity available to him to go out there and get 10 bonus points to help out his cause. And that would be such a help for him, because the season started off so bad for him. I mean, he ran so well at Motegi last week, got involved in an incident coming down to the white flag with him and Cedric Hunter, got him spun, and that is going to be, a big deal if he can go here and get this stage win tonight.
Trying to get the stage win is Trenton Jump, who is going to be having still 5 more laps to go for the 46 machine, as they are going to be hoping as well, if a caution comes out at this time, that would be the end of this stage, and where the drivers are at that point of the caution would be where they're at. And there's a couple of drivers side by side. That is going to be that of John Forbes as well as Matthew Gilliam side by side. Back for that of 7th, 8th, and also watch out for 9th places. Kyle Rochelle trying to close in on Trenton Jump and others in front of them.
Everybody trying to go for spots as here's Forbes, here's Gilliams. Can Gilliams make the pass on the bottom? This is going to be tough. This is where it gets very hard not to make contact, especially as it tightens up in here. You come down into the bottom of turn 2, and it's stacking up. Kyle Rochelle almost contact from behind to him, with Logan breaking the 29, who's in 10th right now. All these drivers in position to get points, but if they get into each other, they could all get none.
Don't want to just throw this race away, as we're not even to the halfway marker, but drivers recognizing stage points can be so crucial if you're going to make the playoffs. And as we're seeing that of Matthew Gilliams, he's going to have to just fold, give up that spot, as he'll have to try another attempt at going for that of 7th place once again later on. And as that was a great battle, it's a little bit of scrub marks from Kyle Rochelle, but as this battle that we see on screen is going on, Nick Crawford able to make the pass for that of 2nd place over that of Mark Whitley.
That was amazing to see for the 74, and that tells me there's some telltale signs of that damage having a huge effect on that 77 already. And again, the damage to the right front, the damage to the splitter, that is going to have some major implications on his grip. And I think Mark Whitley, he's going to have to probably think about getting that repaired here under the stage break, instead of, keeping the track position that has really been valuable so far.
And as that of the 74 machine, looking at the last lap, was faster than Trenton Jump. And again, this is going to be good knowledge, as we're now on the white flag of our stage break. It's all back into the line, and the top 10 drivers will get bonus points. Winner gets 10 bonus points, and all will drop by 1 point to each position. After that is Horn's going to drop down low, going to give that spot to Trenton Jump, and going to be seeing the 46 just trying to hit his marks through 3 and 4. Give that of our stage break winner. The lap stage break goes to the 46 of Trenton Jump.
Great job there by Trenton to get that stage victory and get those 10 bonus points that are just so valuable. I mean, they can make or break your season, and I think that's an excellent sign for him, as I also believe last week in Motegi, he was our stage winner there. So that's 2 back-to-back weeks where this 46 is showing a lot of muscle here at the early portion of these races.
And we maximized the points. He was that of the season 2 champion for a reason. He might not have gotten all the wins at every racetrack, but he certainly knew how to get those stage points and have the best consistency when it came to the ends of these races. As that's going to be our 3rd caution of the day for stage break, as we've only had 2 other yellows come out for on-track incidences. But it's going to be the 46 Trenton Jump, Nick Crawford, Mark Whitley, Ethan Smith, as well as Ollie Fonseca for your top 5. Noah Steele's going to get 6th. 7th goes to that John Forrest. Matthew Gilliams comes away with the 8th position. Kyle Rochelle 9th, and Logan Brakey taking that last 1 point here at our stage break as they're getting ready for pit stops. I mean, Zach, for these drivers, like we talked about, the fuel was not really an issue to think about, but tires now, they were only out there for about that 10 laps of green flag racing, and we're already seeing differing strategies as drivers coming into pit road and some staying out.
Strategy all over the place right here for sure, Sam. And it's Nick Crawford that leads him down in the 74. The 46 at Trenton Jump, he sticks to staying out. Same for his teammate Noah Steele and also Ethan Smith. So we're seeing a bunch of drivers staying out here. John Forbes, Matthew Gilliams, Logan Brakey. I mean, just a ton of them not coming down the pit road. And I kind of like this call here from a few of those drivers electing to stay out here, not take a set of tires here. This, with how many have stayed out here, this could be a huge, stack up in the middle of the field, and we might see some carnage ensue.
Carnage could be possible as our stage winner stays out. We don't have to worry about pit stops and ignoring, confusing them at that point. So let's have a talk to our stage winner of that, a Trenton Jump in the 46. Let's see if we can cue him up. Trenton Jump in the 46 machine. It's Sam and Zach up at the booth. You got us?
Yeah, how's it going, boys?
Well, you take another stage win for this 46 machine. You've been on a tear at the stage break, but here at Darlington, what is your confidence level looking at this track? Because we've seen a lot of other drivers starting to struggle on the long run.
Yeah, I love Darlington. I don't know. It's just something about how it drives now, and Yeah, I don't know. It suits me now. So I love you. Things you love to see is 3 stage wins in a row. So that's huge.
It really is, Trenton. Yeah, we were just saying how you got 2 stage wins back-to-back weeks. Hopefully this one closes out well for you. But take us through the decision not to head to pit road there, because we've seen it was kind of a split decision for majority of the field.
Yeah, we only had like 8 laps on the tires, and I only really ran hard on them the 3 laps. I mean, yeah, there's gonna be a difference in the guys who pit versus who didn't pit, but I just think the time that it takes them to get back to me, I don't know. I feel like when they get back to me is going to be right when I need a pit, so I feel like I'm still going to have the advantage to the end if it does stay green. So I'm not too worried about it, but if it doesn't play out in my way, just try to at least finish this week and not finish poorly like I did last week.
And we've already seen here tonight that brought out the caution for our stage break of lap traffic being an issue. How much of a concern are you feeling with lap traffic if we get into a longer run?
You know, it's common sense that if you're lap traffic that you should keep your eyes open, but in that case, I feel like whoever the lap car was just wasn't aware. So usually when I'm leading, I always try to get on the mic, you know, a good time ahead to let them know I'm coming or where I want them, or sometimes they'll ask where they want to go. So I'm not really too concerned about it.
Well, I know you probably want to get yourself ready to let the drivers behind you to know where you're going to be. It was good talking to you, Trent, and good luck here tonight.
Yeah, have fun, boys.
As that's going to be the Armadillos Racing driver of going to be Trenton Jump winning again. Zach, that's crazy to think 3 in a row on that stage winner, but still hasn't found himself in victory lane. He's hoping to break that curse.
He really is trying to break that curse here, and this is a good place to do it. He said he has a good feel, and I'm interested to see how this plays out. I mean, the first car off of pit road that last time was Nick Crawford in the 74 machine, so we'll see how that shakes up here with these drivers on fresh rubber back here trying to navigate their way through. And like Trenton said, I mean, you know, they're so far back that they're going to have a tough time here, because when these tires fire off, the drivers who just, you know, ran that stage break out, they're going to have a little bit of extra tire still left there when they cool down. So it's going to be tough to pass here, and I don't know if those new tires will have the easiest time getting right back to these drivers up front.
And it's going to be even more of a mixed bag, because due to the fact that we know for sure our top about that of going to be top of 12 going to be drivers for sure that decided to stay out. Well, it's going to be back to 13th where drivers that decided to take just fuel only, and then there's a mixed bag in between of that of drivers that decided to take fuel only with drivers that took 4 tires. So who knows, could we see a big wreck out here right on this restart? Let's find out as we're back to green flag racing for the Larry Art Productions throwback 170. Trent Jump looking strong. His teammate Noah Steele following behind as Ethan Smith falls to 3rd.
That they are. Trenton Jump, just a great restart for him, but it's John Forbes back there in the background in the 11 machine. He's the one having to fight the hardest right now, as he's got Logan Brakey to the inside down the 3 and 4, and then you'll have Barrick up holding the 17, the 47 of John McAdam, Cody Smith in the 7, who was involved in that incident, going a lap down earlier, now back on the lead lap in the top 10.
And up in the top 10, it's great to see a driver who's, again, part of that strategy call to stay out on the older tires. Like we heard from Trenton, it was only about 8 laps of green flag racing, but that still is a difference to watch out for. And the driver that's leading the movement of taking 4 tires on that last pit stop, Nick Crawford, the 74 in 11th place.
He really is. That 74 machine's going to be leading the way when it comes to that brigade. We'll see how long it takes for him to try to get something to happen. Here comes Malik Kuntz in the 98. He's got Ali Fonseca trying to make the pass on the bottom there, because they got Jordan Smeets directly ahead of them. Also the 7 there, Cody Smith, well off the pace, and this is going to stack things up. Oh man, it almost happened. Is now Danny Cochran. He's going to possibly make it 3 wide here off the exit of 2.
And the 7 going to be drifting in front of drivers. He gets out of control, able to hold on. And it is just looking hazardous as the 7 of Cody Smith. As, oh no, in front of Smith, it's contact. It's Eric Stamp into the wall. Then it's going to be the 6 spinning out the 91 of Mar Morales. And somehow the rest of the field doesn't clobber one another.
Wow, what a crazy scene of events there in 3 and 4. And that was all with that stack up heading into 3. And it just drivers getting in a little bit too hot into the corners and ending up getting into the rear of each other. And it can happen here a lot of times when people are going for the same real estate on the racetrack, and some drivers are just willing to send it a little bit farther, as the 94 Altis seem to be doing. It just ends up bringing out that yellow, and tough break as everybody else stacked up and just could not get woed down enough to not get into each other, because when off these restarts, you're just stacked up on top of each other.
You're stacked up, nowhere to go, and it is a troublesome spot to find yourself in as Joshua Freed, one of those drivers that had to get into the outside wall to avoid some of the carnage and got a lot of damage. Also going to be seeing others that we were talking about involved with the wreck. There's Joshua Altis, Eric Stamp, as well as Cody Smith and others coming into pit road, trying to get some damage repair. Some might decide to take tires, as Smith was one of those that did not. And once again, kind of a little bit of a shake-up here, and Zach, with the timing of this yellow, it's kind of going to make things interesting for those that already pitted our stage break, because the more yellows we get, the more fuel that they can save.
That they can, and that's going to help them there, because the way this is going to shake out here, folks, we're on lap 60 at the moment, so, we're looking still at 65 laps. You're not going to be able to do that on one tank of fuel. So everybody who just pitted, you're not going to be able to make it to the end of this race. But this just makes everything that much more better for the drivers who stayed out earlier, because they got to stretch it a little bit farther. They shouldn't have no issues with fuel, but this is also taking out green flag laps to allow those new fresh tires behind you to catch up. So this caution is probably the best case scenario for drivers like Trenton Jump, Noah Steele, Ethan Smith, Matthew Gilliams, who are on 20 lap older tires than the rest, or 20 lap since they've took a set of tires. So this could help slow down that progress from people such as the 74 and the 21, who are right now leading that brigade of the new tires.
As that Trent Jump going to be leading the way up front, and as we are closing in on the halfway marker here tonight, we're actually going to step aside and get to see this restart, as we're going to be getting ourselves set up for a commercial break. Trenton Jump, Noah Steele going to be those front runners, with Ethan Smith in third place, Matthew Gilliams in fourth. Fifth goes to that of Logan Brakey. As you are watching the ISRC Race Car Graveyard Truck Series, this is race number 6 here tonight, the Larry Art Productions Throwback 170, as we are getting ourselves prepared for more racing coverage as here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. It's been a wild one, but we'll see you on the other side. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. A little bit of an incident coming as we were side by side there. It's Barrick Uphold as well is going to be seen that of the 4 of Robert Schmidt's going to be making contact with one another. And the timing of this yellow allowing the field to try to reset for themselves as Trent Jump and his teammate of Noah Steele and others hitting pit road as we are back giving you coverage on Freaky Fast Broadcasting Monday night of the ISRC Race Car Graveyard Truck Series. It's race number 6 and drivers are piling into pit road. Cedric Hunter is sideways and trying to get himself back straight. Pit entry. Madness here under yellow.
Whoa. That all stacked up very quickly. I think Cedric Hunter got the barrels. So entry on pit road is very, very tight, and things like that just happening very, very randomly. As I think even like Danny Cochran almost got him too, and I think Cedric Hunter was right behind him, and that really kind of surprised him, I'm sure, when the two turned down off the barrels.
I know pit road entry can be difficult at times, but what a bizarre moment to have as the two. Usually it's a fake out to leave, not going to pit road, as a fake out to go into pit road, and it became costly for a majority of the field.
That's a new strategy, Sam. So might need to jot that one down through the late turn right before you get to the barrels, and if the driver behind you is not paying attention, they could end up in the wall. And it's just the chronicles tonight of Cedric Hunter and Mark Willey just having a terrible night when it comes to just not getting damage on their trucks. They're both pretty much now in pit road with huge amounts of damage. Cedric Hunter, he's got a meatball flag, so he's got required repairs on that 13. And these were two of the drivers that were looking like the favorites early in this race, and now everything has turned itself upside down here and literally on pit road. So tough break.
That wasn't even what originally caused this accident. The original cause was the 17 and the 4 making contact on track right in front of the 13 machine, actually making contact with Cedric Hunter, and also caught up in that wreck with Cedric Hunter coming into pit road, which was the additional contact. Barrick Uphold was a part of that as well, and now is out of the race, is the 17 officially.
This is just mind-blowing. Where's the full moon at? Can we find that here maybe at some point tonight? Because things have just been wild so far with some of these, incidents that you just never would have expected, and just certain people that couldn't get out of their own way, it seems like tonight. It just seems like wherever you're at, something's happening around you, and that's just how racing is sometimes and how it plays out. And with how the caution played out right there too, the drivers that took that extra set of tires, it kind of got nullified now, because with those cautions, Trent Jump, Noah Steele, Ethan Smith, Logan Breaking, all these drivers, they got to feel very, very good about all of this, how it's played out, because they have extra sets of tires on the field, and they have now even set of tires when it comes to the drivers behind them.
And now, for Nick Crawford, who was the first driver with fresh rubber able to climb his way through, he's going to be starting on that on that upper lane in 4th place, the 74. He just saw probably his 2 toughest competitors out of this race. Now it's going to be Trenton Jump on the focus for the 74 for that of the long run, where the 74 looks stronger. But what a bizarre situation here as we are on lap 75. What a wild event that we are now trying to get settled back in for, as that side-by-side commercial break try to get things situated. We were seeing a good amount of racing, but now it's time to settle in. Who is going to win here tonight for the Larry Art Productions Throwback 170? Again, getting the coverage here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. My name is Sam Dyer. With me is Zach Hall, Robert Moyer Jr. running production in the background. As for that, a Trent Jump, Noah Steele, the teammates from Armadillo Racing, and their color teal graphics machines, ready to give us back to green flag racing. But will chaos strike once again, as some of the magnets that have been around a lot of chaos seem to be out of this race? But we are back to green flag racing. A little bit of a checkup in the middle of the field, as John McAdams was not prepared, but everyone else up front, they're rolling, and the battling for that for 3rd place is where the action is really holding on.
That it is. Ethan Smith, they're able to clear to 74. He's able to chop down in front of the 29. That slows him up. That's going to give Fonseca a chance on the 24, but here even comes the 74 back on the 00, down in the 3 and 4. Nick Crawford just driving it in there, making the move stick and able to hold on to it. And with the timing of this yellow, the way it has played out, these drivers will be able to make it on fuel, but it's farther back here in the pack. Kyle Rochelle in the 21, it's stacked up there with John Forbes for that 7th and 8th positions.
Oh, and up into the wall for that of 8th place, and now 9th place for the 21. Kyle Rochelle gets bounced to the outside wall. He's going to have Danny Cochran in the 2, who's been very aggressive on trying to get through the field. He's hoping to be making the pass for himself, as that of Malik Kuntz, who's back on the same set of tires and same strategy as everyone else, the 98. He is doing the complete opposite of what he's been doing the last couple of weeks. Up not at the very strong start of the race, but he's performing now.
That he is, Sam. This is great to see for the 98 here, pushing himself up in positions. He's also got Gilliams, who is literally looking great also here tonight with the run he's having. This race has turned itself upside down. We could see a surprise winner here and be able to get themselves some very good finishes for those points that it seems like week in and week out, you never know where you're going to finish here on Monday nights at ISRC, and you got to make the points up when you can, and these two right here in the 28 and the 98 definitely doing that.
They definitely are trying their best. As for that of our leader of Trent Jump, he is feeling confident up front, trying to pull away the best that he can, but certainly the drivers that are in the middle of this field trying to hold on, and we're seeing the battling from that of the 28 from 8th place on back, but even drivers behind them, they're still having troubles on holding on to that looks to be just rubber in general, as a driver that had to pull into pit road, the 7 of Cody Smith, an unscheduled pit stop, and it could be a race-ending pit stop for the 7, who looks to have terminal damage for himself with a bad contact coming into pit road.
Tough ordeal there for Cody Smith, who has had some woes here tonight at the Darlington Speedway, as he's just not been able to find his groove here so far, as he's still rolling on pit road trying to get back to his pit stall. I don't think he'll be able to get that done, as he's just a few pit stalls short of that one, as he's still about 2 miles an hour on pit road. But this group here still battling it up. It's Gilliams and Kuntz here in the 98 trying to move themselves forward. You also have Rochelle right behind, who got into that outside wall, has stacked kind of everything up, and even Danny Cochran trying to recover after sitting on pole position and make his way back up through the field.
But Zach, the big question in my mind has to be the leader. Trent Jump is putting down some of the fastest laps of the whole entire race right now, as you're seeing that of the 74. Nick Crawford, he is going to be in trouble for that of 3rd place. Ethan Smith going to take that position right on back for himself, and as well for that 4th place of that of Nick Crawford. He's going to be in trouble here quickly with Ollie Fonseca, Logan Brecky there closing in on the 74. I'm curious if Nick Crawford is thinking long game on that of a long run, because if the drivers stay green, they should be able to make it from here to the end from that last pit stop. It's going to be close on fuel, but Nick Crawford trying to make it to the end. But that Trent Jump was so aggressive when he tried to take off. That of the 46 could be in trouble being ran down later in this race if he's been too aggressive on these tires.
Yeah, with it being such a long run to the end of this race, I mean, it'll be the longest run of the night completely. I just don't see the idea in going too fast here in this run. I understand it's getting down to the crunch point of this race. You want to get track position. You're worried that if a yellow does come out and you give up spots or you give up time, it might not come back around. But I think the drivers in 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th, if I'm one of them, I see Trent Jump here just driving away. I'm just going to put it on cruise control for now, and I'm going to try to make sure I have tire left for the long run portion of this race, because again, this will be the longest run by far we've had all night. We got to see those longer runs at that very first portion of this race around lap 40, because we had about a 40 lap run there. It was very, very tough on the tires, and drivers were struggling.
And also for Trent Jump, he had about 2 laps where he was dealing with lap traffic of that of Mark Whitley, who, after being passed by the 46, pulls it into pit road for the 77. He looks to be done for the night. And that little bit of battling hurting the tires even more on the longer run, as Ethan Smith seems to be getting that go button, as he is right on the back bumper of Noah Steele now.
Ethan Smith has really turned it up. I mean, he was working over Nick Crawford as after Crawford passed him on like really the opening restart, and it looks like he's kind of said, you know what, we can't let Trent Jump get out too far here, because he's probably concerned about having to run him back down later. And you also smell that chance of victory. You get closer up to the front, you know you got that chance. And again, this is where I think you got to be very disciplined as a driver, is you cannot change what you've been doing already. You got to go out there and run your laps and not focus on the lap time you're putting down, or the lap times compared to that group ahead. You got to really, really focus on hitting your marks and doing the same thing over and over again to replicate a good long-run pace, because if you try to go out there and run somebody down, you're just going to overheat your stuff.
Overheat, cause issues, and you don't want to have them going up each and every time. You just try to get a little bit too aggressive. I mean, you think back to some of the other drivers that have had opportune chances to get their first win of their ISRC Truck Series career. I mean, you think of Trenton Jump at this time, 46, trying to just get his second win ever in the ISRC Truck Series. He's got his first win all the way back at Watkins Glen in like the second or third race of his Truck Series career, where he won the championship that season. But ever since that win, it has been turmoil and struggles for the 46. He's been intentionally wrecked. He's been caught up in madness when there were chances for him to get wins, and also just terrible luck. And you look back then to second place for Noah Steele. He's looking to get himself into victory lane. Ethan Smith, one of the more winningest drivers when you think of ISRC Truck Series history. And then Nick Crawford, Ollie Fonseca, just trying to find another victory to put on their trophy stack.
That they are, Sam. This is really opened the door for drivers that haven't got the most victories here at ISRC and had good runs to go out here and get it done here tonight at Darlington, South Carolina. So the door has been swung wide open, as they say. Can Trenton Jump, after all the turmoil he's gone in since his first win, get something happening? We're going to have to see here tonight and see if he can hold on to us, because, again, the gap he's opened up, it's going to be tough to hold back some of these drivers if they have some good long-run speed.
Nick Crawford not feeling comfortable. He's going to have to fall in line with Ollie Fonseca, as you saw there. Just a bad exit out of the corner. And now for this group that we're watching on screen, they've got to be careful because they're closing in on one lap car. That's GT Irizarry. Not sure how the 14 wants to get out of the way for a pack. Was easily able to get dispatched by that Trenton Jump. But now here we go. It's time to settle in for this next lap or two on how they're going to get by lap cars.
Question what these drivers want to do, because right now I'm seeing this 24, this 00, even the 74, all of them running the top side of 3 and 4, and that personally, watching something like that concerns me for these drivers, as they got that lap traffic right ahead of them, as it's going to be stacked up, folks, here as they're going by that 14 Irizarry. And that was close moments there coming off of 2. That's allowed Nick Crawford to get past the 74, allowed the even Noah Steele there to get passed by Fonseca, who was the one who took the most advantage of it.
Yeah, Ollie Fonseca taking 2 positions for 1. That Nick Crawford taking 1 position. It's Ethan Smith, the biggest loser from that situation, falling from that of 3rd back to that of 5th. A tough pill to swallow if you're the 00 who's on the charge. And now going to be seeing Noah Steele, Nick Crawford. They're about to be swapping positions down into turn number 3.
If you're the 46 at Trenton Jump, you're loving what you're seeing in your mirror. You're seeing all these drivers battle it out, try to duke it out. And that right there takes life out of the tires. And with the gap he has time to really just sit there and hit his marks. He does not need to go out here and build a bigger gap than 3 seconds than he already has. This should be a good buffer zone for him to just relax for now and make sure if someone does get the speed here later in the run, they are able to make something. As look at that speed, the 00 right around the 8, as the 8 has a big moment out of 2.
Yeah, out of 2, you can just see if you don't get a good exit out of the corner, you're going to be a sitting duck on the entry of the next, as Noah Steele tries to set up a crossover move, just not there, as Ethan Smith, he was on the charge. And Zach, I mean, that kind of is giving me a little bit of flashbacks to Watkins Glen when we saw Nick Crawford be held up by a lap car. Same exact thing for that of Ethan Smith. Held up by a lap car, losing so much time and momentum, and now having to pass drivers that he already had passed before. This has got to be frustrating for that 00, as you're seeing the drivers staying low. That's going to be Tyler Horn, who's going to just get out of the way for the rest of the field to drive on by the 26.
That's a great job by Tyler Horn there to get out of the way, let everybody go by, and really not allow them to get woed up here as we're riding on board with the 00 machine. Can he close back in? He lost all that momentum from the lap traffic, and now you can see his gap is just gigantic. It's 3.8 seconds all the way up to Trenton Jump, and it's about a full second up to Nick Crawford and Ollie Fonseca as they go side by side up there through 3 and 4.
And that's what we're seeing as we're riding on forward with the 00. You can see that battle in front. They're trying to stay off of one another, and that just closing rate of how narrow the exit of the corner feels. You got a quick sense of that from the 00 as we move up, get to see the battle, and that pass is made. Nick Crawford hoping for a good exit, trying to pull away from Ollie Fonseca. And now for Nick Crawford, here's the questionable spot, because you're going to be closing in on Eric Stamp, who's going to be a lap car. But will Eric Stamp be respectful and just get out of the way? Or is he going to play the team game and try to be the toughest driver to get by all night long?
We will have to see, Sam. I mean, I don't think Eric Stamp is going to pull any, anything here to try to hold up Nick Crawford. Now, he may not be the nicest when it comes to him, but I just don't see Eric Stamp being that type of driver to try to hold up the 74. He knows that, and even in Trenton Jump's case, he doesn't really want that to happen either. He wants to win this race fair and square. He wants to beat these guys on just straight up pace. He doesn't want to have his teammate out there trying to hold back the driver that's trying to run him down. So I think we won't see anything there, but you never know. I will never rule that out until we see when he catches the 53. And it's such a fast closing rate, I don't know if the 53 is going to be able to hold him back much.
Well, right now, that Nick Crawford's hoping that he's going to be right on the back bumper right here on the exit, so he can just dive down low, get out of the way quickly, and the timing, perfect. Nick Crawford already done and dusted by the lap car in the entry of turn 3.
Great move there from Nick Crawford, and right there on the bottom lane is behind in the background. Yet Ali Fonseca, he got up into the wall there in 3 and 4. And if you're Nick Crawford here, you are now closing the gap down. You got it down to 2.8 seconds. You were about a tenth faster than Trenton Jump that last time by, even making a pass on the lap car. If you're Nick Crawford, you got to work and make sure you don't try to use your equipment up too much, because when you get to Trenton Jump, you got to have something still left to try to pass him.
Gotta try to settle in and set up your cells here. Great battlings that we've been seeing throughout the night as these drivers trying to make their pushes forward, and a little bit of updates for drivers that are just inside of the top 10. Danny Cochran now up to 9th place. I mean, Zach, for a driver that we talked about how tough it is to make passes, the two, he's dealt with a lot of damage. He's finally going to be up to 9th place. A better finish than what he was hoping for more positions as he's battling with that of Matthew Gilliams. And as we continue to talk about that, drivers that are battling for positioning in the top 10, it's actually teammates Noah Steele, Logan Brakey, 5th and 6th position, and that also going to be having Blackjack driver of John Forbes closing in on those drivers for who's going to be in 5th place.
It's definitely starting to heat up right now throughout the field. These throwback schemes, they're trying to get the most pace out of them here to try to go and get what they can possibly have here tonight at the Darlington Raceway. Every single driver was still an opportunity to better their positions, except for Trenton Jump out there, who's already in the lead position. But can we see some fireworks fly? As right now Logan Brakey, he's trying to make passes on his teammate Noah Steele back here, and he's done a great job of getting a run through 3 and 4, because here comes John Forbes. Also, can he follow the 29 through? He's going to look to the inside in 1 and 2, and this is where things get tricky off the exit of 2.
Noah Steele going to be trying to pinch down low, not going to give that much space, and that is going to be a great job on defending for that position, but it could be backfiring. As I say that, drivers trying to make sure that they can stay close to one another. Here comes that of Gilliams, who's going to be trying to duck down low underneath the 11 of John Forbes, riding on the back bumper of the 11 machine. Gilliams not able to make the pass as he's right on the back bumper, settling in. We're about closing in to 20 laps to go here at Darlington. And drivers that were saving those tires for this long run starting to show their speed now, as here comes Matthew Gilliams once again going for that 7th place position.
Trying to make it happen here, Sam. The 28. Could he go up here and get possibly a top 5 as contact to the 8? And he holds on to it, but the 11 slides up. Now Gilliams, he takes 1 position. Can he take 2 here as the run off of 4?
It's going to be Noah Steele losing the most positions there, as it's going to be that of Gilliams now diving it low, not able to do so, get back in line with the draft, entering that at turn number 1, not able to make the pass there, but John Forbes and Gilliams, that is a terrifying spot where you hate to see it for the 8 machine of Noah Steele. Once again, another strong run, but it's the long run, the late passes that gets the 8 into big trouble.
Big trouble indeed, Sam, and can the 11 formulate something? He's going to rip the top here, 3 and 4, but he's up in the wall. And again, that top side, I feel at times it's kind of feels like it lures you in to want to go up there and run that line, but in my opinion, it's just not the way to go. 3 and 4, the bottom has been the best way all night, especially for those tires. And the 11 somehow closes the door on the 28 there on the exit of 2 as they go by the 6 machine of Justin Smith as he gets put a lap down to these group of drivers. They can't watch too far out because Danny Cochran behind him, can he close in and try to make something happen in the 2 machine if this group stacks up?
It matters on how much time they're losing with battling with one another. If the two can close in and somehow make a miracle run for a top 5 finish, Logan Brakey is that driver that could give you a chance for a top 5 finish here tonight. Brakey is certainly somehow, I know I've seen the 29 in other leagues. He's been one of the toughest drivers to make a pass on. He's even been tough to pass to his teammates in the 29. He's going to try to make that rear end as big as possible to hold off John Forbes as the battle for 5th is going on. We now move our cameras up. Forbes loose out of the corner. Gilliam's now going to have this push to the inside. He's at the quarter panel. He'll try one more opportunity to the inside through 1 and 2, but he's been struggling to get back into the throttle. He keeps it side by side. The mad dash out of the corner. They pinch, contact. There goes the 11 sliding, slamming, getting into Gilliam's, but it's the 11 keeping it straight, and we stay green.
Whoa. Big moments there. That's where it's so tough on the outside. You want to be able to turn down that racetrack to get away from that wall. The 11 tries to turn down, the 28's there, and they just make contact that sends the 11 sliding. Gilliam's up to 6th, and John Forbes back to 10th.
And we'll see if the 8 machine wants to maybe get some retaliation, but we move up and see that of the 8 making the pass. But he's trying to make a pass, not able to do so, just doesn't feel confident in those tires. But Zach, Matthew Gilliams, Danny Cochran, they've closed in. And also that Malik Goots and Dakota Moniz. We haven't talked about that 5 machine, but he's in the top 10 now.
It's going all over the place. Every little thing is closing down here in the mid-pack. The lead's closing in. It's down to 2 seconds up front. I mean, we got a lot of things happening here at Darlington right now in the closing stages of the throwback race.
Matthew Gilliams no longer going to have that dirty air. He's going to have a little bit of clean space as he'll have to try to close in on that gap to Logan Brakey again. But it's Danny Cochran who's dealing with the major dirty air. Malik Coons are riding on board the 5. And Dakota Moniz getting a sense how they want to test out the slightly different ways they want to enter that of turns 3 and 4. And on the exit, they're going to all aim to get close to that outside wall and figure out the momentum to battle with one another, as it's going to be 16, about to be 15 when they cross the line. Laps to go here tonight.
This thing is still on the line for these drivers. If you get a caution, everything can go haywire even more. So we'll see who can hold on to what they got. But right now, it's this group that's still like stacked up, just all on top of each other, battling for a top 6 position. If Danny Cochran could get 6th, I think that can be a good night for him, just because it just seemed to be a struggle ever since the qualifying on pole. It just seems like the long run and the race run speed has just not been there for the 2 machine after getting into the wall early.
I mean, he got a spin out of turn 2, then got in the wall while he was trying to go through the field, and Danny Cochran has just been trying to have a recovery run for the ages here tonight, as again, just trying to go for a top 5 finish if possible, but they got to catch up to that of Logan Brakey to have that opportune chance. As for the battle for the lead, Zach Trent Jump, he's been able to keep it pretty equal. Oh no, Danny Cochran off the nose of the 98. There goes Dakota Moniz, going to make the pass. Danny's going to back up into the field, and that could bring out a yellow.
That will bring out a yellow, not yet, but he's slow, and this is going to be wild here heading into 3.
He's able to get back up to speed, but driver's going to be geeking all over the place. No yellow's going to be thrown. That's one of those awkward times where no yellow is thrown. Now Martin Morales gets into the outside wall, and just the nightmare continues for Danny Cochran. But what a run for the 5 at Dakota Moniz, as drivers still bouncing off the walls around one another. The grip level is low. And Zach, now the question looms for Trent Jump. Can this race stay green? Because these are the scenarios that Trent has been in past races where he's been leading, dominating, but a late yellow changes everything for a win.
Wow, what a crazy scene here. And if you're Trent Jump, you're just saying, give me to the white flag. That's all I want to see. I don't want any type of yellow, because that's where things have gone wrong, like you said, in the past for him, Sam. And I tell you, I mean, the short run speed he's had has been immaculate so far. And right now, the last 4 or 5 laps, he's been so much quicker than Nick Crawford. I don't know if Nick Crawford's just hit that cliff of tires, and they're just starting to fall off because his lap times have really dropped off. He's going to have a concern, and caution's out.
Yellow flag is out. And oh my goodness.
Wow. I'm unsure what that was for, actually, there, too.
Oh, whoa, that was a awkward, I think. It's Cedric Hunter again. And it is. Cedric Hunter, his nightmare continues. 21 laps down. In the 13, brings out the caution that Trent Jump was terrified to see.
Oh, no, that is not good to see. There's Yeah, the 13 just, I mean, his night has just been unfortunate for him after having such good pace. It just seems like everything has went wrong as he's battling here at the 47. John McAdams trying to work his way just through this field here as he's laps down. Looks like the 47 just going to wash up in front of him as Christopher Norris's teammate slow and the 47 up into him. And then from here, it's going to hit that front end with that 47. It's going to launch him back towards the outside wall. And then boom, he's stuck in it. That is right there, folks, what we call stopping on a dime.
Stopping on a dime, a little bit of a glitch spot on the wall that sometimes you can hit and will throw you up into the fence. And if anything, that's just iRacing telling that Cedric Hunter to just get off the race. There's nothing else to be grabbed. You're done for the night, and it was a good effort for yourself. But Zach talked about it, a nightmare situation to be seen as that a Trenton jump into pit road. And oh boy, the drama-filled Ollie Fonseca stays out for the 24.
Very questionable call there for me for the 24 as the race off pit road there. You see how close it is. Nick Crawford and the 46 there race off. But the thing is, which position is going to be better? Because when we get back green, it's going to be second and third for him, not first and second. This could open up some opportunities for Nick Crawford and Trenton Jump to be having to choose how they work around this 24 and which lane goes.
And for that of Ollie Fonseca, what makes this even more interesting is due to the fact that he still had a set of tires in pit road to work with. The 24 just blatantly is going with a different strategy call, was hoping for more drivers to stay out. But when you have over a 43 lap disadvantage over someone else, it is not really worth it. Ollie Fonseca must be banking on the fact that we are going to have quick yellow after quick yellow, because if this race stays green for any amount of over a lap, the 24 is going to be swarmed by the drivers behind that are going to have fresher tires.
Ooh, Sam, this is wild to see. And I mean, even if he feels like it's going to be caution field after caution field, I mean, I don't know how long. I think it might be one corner before he's just swamped up into the middle of the top five there, and then he's going to be quickly disposed of and maybe even involved in an incident with someone trying to get by him there. I mean, this is what's going to make it super close and super interesting, but I'm just interested to see how this shakes out with this restart, especially with the tires. I mean, the older tires, I mean, we've seen Trenton Jump on brand new tires earlier. He had some wheel spin. 44 lap old tires, you're definitely going to have some wheel spin.
And this is when things get interesting, because drivers over the radio currently right now are pleading for Ollie Fonseca to pick the other lane that they're going to be in. And Nick Crawford over the radio already said, please pick the outside lane. But I don't expect that, because Ollie Fonseca, part of that of Larson Line Racing, is in alliance with Blackjack Racing. And Ollie Fonseca, we look back, Zach, to even last week, there was a lot of aggressive racing going on between the 24 and the 00 of Ethan Smith. I wouldn't be surprised if the 24 stays low to try to give a little bit of help to the 00.
It's very, very possible that could play out that way. And I mean, even as Ollie Fonseca had a moment there of connection loss, I mean, that could open the door there for something else. But with him starting on the bottom here, if he doesn't get going well, then, actually, he's going to switch to the top. So he's going to try to actually get a good start and a good launch here. I think what they're playing here is they want to get a good launch and a good start, and he's going to allow Ethan Smith to try to get to the outside of that 46. But if he gets stuck behind that 24, that's where the door opens up for, that 46 to come back by. But we're seeing some gamesmanship here for sure, some trickery, and some wild moments here at Darlington. Similar to what we've seen kind of Zachary Pearson stay out late at Motegi. This right here has opened up the door. If you're Trenton Jump, you just want to see the checker flag.
I mean, all that Trenton Jump is thinking about, Zach, is probably flashbacks and nightmares of Rockingham last season in the playoffs. A very similar situation happened where a driver decided to stay out, and it messed up the 46 chances of going to victory lane. And can that a Trenton Jump recover? Ollie Fonseca, old tires versus new. Green flag is out of the air. The 00 didn't get that great of a launch, but wheel spin for Ollie, and Trenton Jump is there going into turn number 1.
Side by side for the lead position. It's going to be an easy 1-2. There comes Nick Crawford. He's going to try to follow that 46 through, and the 46 is going to be completely clear here. And even Ethan Smith also, as now it's going to be a top 3 battle here for the win, as Ollie Fonseca, he's going to be a sitting duck.
It's going to be a sitting duck in fourth. Our front three, front four, front five. They're all gone, but they're wrecking behind. It's a mayhem in the center of 3 and 4. Drivers were side by side, almost 3 wide on the entry of turn 3, and it did not stick, as we could be going to an in-race green-white checkered for the timing of this wreck. But exactly the same time, this also could transfer to overtime. We're going to wait and see how the pace laps go.
That it very well could. I think if you're the 46, you kind of like this. I mean, you have the opportunity to mess the restart up, but as we see the replay here, it got wild back here, so we could see a few more of these as it's 3 wide with Christopher Norris there just going by everybody 3 lanes down. As you're going to see, I think the contact to the 98 to the 29 of Brakey, who you got to feel for, man. Brakey was having a top 5 run before that yellow came out, and now he's going to be spinning around. And look at this. It's going to create mayhem here as everybody tries to make it by. Joshua Altice and Christopher Norris trying to get through. They do, but it's the drivers in the second row back that could not make it through.
Couldn't make it through. And Zach, you see the 15 make it through there. That's Matt Upbrook. He is on the lead lap. He is 12th currently for the 15. He was 3 laps down, missed the start of this race. And what a miracle run he's having as you see the rest of the field. Again, caught up in that wreck. There were about 8 drivers all caught up in this one.
Wild scenes here at Darlington. And when it gets down to the end of these races, that's when people just go for it. I mean, they're willing to risk things that they wouldn't do earlier. And you're trying to make moves that you possibly wouldn't have done earlier. And that equates to incidents that end up taking each other out. So I'm not surprised to see some of this stacking up because they know what's available. And Darlington's a track where you really just can't send it everywhere you go. You kind of got to, like we say, race the racetrack. And when it's down to this point of the race, you got to race your competitors. So it kind of throws all the race the racetrack out the window, and you start going as hard as you possibly can, and then you run into major issues. As we've seen Danny Cochran, he's now disconnected in the 2, so he's parked it for the night. Just a terrible scene for a lot of drivers here.
It really is, as drivers trying to get in for a good run. Some other drivers that are inside of our top 15 that have an opportune chance for a great finish. For some, could be their best finish of the season. I want to give a little bit of spotlight to the 11th place runner of Kyle Tate. Kyle Tate messaged me earlier today, said, hey, just a talking point. Got an exciting moment yesterday when he got to see that of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. winning the Daytona 500. He actually got to interview and hang out with that of, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. a few years back when he actually, for that of Kyle Tate, was actually being an announcer for that of the AA affiliated team for the Atlanta Braves back in 2011 to 2016, where he actually got to interview and have a conversation. So he's hoping for the magic that the 47 last night got to have will rub onto the 43 here tonight.
That is a very cool story there about that there for Kyle B. Tate. And congrats again to Ricky Stenhouse there for that win last night there. As it was a fun race to watch there at Daytona 500, and we've had a barn burner here tonight too, as it looks like it's going to be one of those moments that we're going to remember for a long time here at ISRC, because if Trenton Jump can close out this, drought that, so to say, as he's had, I tell you what, watch out for the 46. He may be looking to go get himself another champion and be the first 2-time champion of this league, because we've yet to see that happen.
We also have talked about that of John Forbes looking so good. The 11 going to be all the way back in that pit road in 22nd position. So many drivers out of this race that is given an opportune chance, but this restart for that of the 46 here, Zach, going to be on the inside. This is going to be an interesting take because we've seen the leaders that are on the outside get a great launch. Instead, the 46 sticking to his guns, going to have more of a traditional restart here to the inside lane.
In my opinion, I actually kind of like this deal, because if he gets a good enough jump, catches Nick Crawford off guard on that inside lane here, that's most likely going to put that 00 in that 74 side by side heading through 1 and 2. If you see them side by side, it is your race to lose at that point. You have a gap, you have the ability to just set the pace. And I think that's what he's going for here, folks. So we'll see if he can make and replicate the starts he's had earlier. He had some wheel spin earlier in a restart, but I think he knows what to expect here. But if you're Nick Crawford, you can't be sleeping.
This is an inside the regulation green-white checker. 2 laps to go. If we get a yellow flag on this first lap, we're going to overtime. Drivers trying to keep themselves connected to the race, into the restart zone, and we're green here for the Larry Art Productions Throwback 170 trend jump. A great launch for himself. Nick Crawford defending the double zero as they go into turn number 1. Zach, it's all trend jump right at this moment.
At the moment it is. Can Nick Crawford formulate something, though? Can he get a run out of 2? That's going to be the question. Here they come, loose out of there as the cold tires still feel, but down to 3 and 4 for the penultimate time, possibly. And Trenton Jump, he knows he just has to get back to that white flag to have a chance at another checker flag.
He's hoping to see that white flag in the air, into that of the Geico restart zones, across the line. It's the Larry Art Productions white flag. They're 3 wide deeper in the field for 4th place, but for the lead, it's Trenton Jump, Nick Crawford, Ethan Smith trying to hold on the best that they can. Nick Crawford, one more opportunity for the 74 to go after the 46. Can that Trenton Jump break the winless streak that he's had for so long? He won all the way back in season 2. So many opportunities, so many chances, and tonight out of turn number 4, he keeps it out of the wall and will win the Larry Art Productions Throwback 170. And man, what a drought it's been, but it's finally broken.
That it is, folks. It has been broken, and maybe the floodgates have been opened. Can the 46 continue what he's done? 3 stage wins in a row, and now a victory to go along with it. Trenton Jump is on a mission here in season number 4 here as Nick Crawford brings him 2nd. Ethan Smith a strong 3rd, but I think we got to give a huge shout out there. Matthew Gilliams, he's going to bring it home 4th in the 28.
Fantastic run for himself. And then also shout out to a driver just 1 position out of the top 10. Matt Upbrook, he was 3 laps down when he missed the start of the race. 11th place, and our biggest mover of the night goes to the 15.
That is great to see, man.
Oh my goodness, wild events, and as all the teammates come by to give congratulational bumps to the 46. A wild night it's been. A lot of big wrecks. Some drivers have had big meltdowns, but tonight Trenton Jump gets to burn it down for the 46 machine. And as he gets to have his fun, we're gonna step aside. When we come back, it's the post-race show where we get to talk to the 46, as well as that of Nick Crawford in the 74 and a spotlight driver in just a few moments. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the post-race show on Freaky Fast Broadcasting for the ISRC race car graveyard truck series. What a wild night it was. I still can't get over how wild some of these wrecks were this evening, and the fact that it was wide open on who was going to win. And it finally got to a driver that has been hunting and hounding for their first win in so long. They got their very first win all the way back in season 2 in their rookie season, where they dominated that of Watkins Glen, where they almost lost the race being intentionally wrecked. They felt like there was a bad omen over them, but they finally get it done. Trent, jump. It has been a while, but you are back to victory lane. And it's nice to see you up here and finally clinching this victory. But man, how are you feeling after this one?
Sweaty, very sweaty. It's been a long time coming. I know I only got the one road course win, but man, there should be 7 or 8 other ovals that we should have won, and just stuff like last week, just late yellows, just get caught up in that stuff, and you end up losing races because of it. It's tough, but we finally broke through, and one finally came our way.
That it did, Trent, man. Very good job there, man. Congrats on that. As I was saying on the broadcast, multiple stage wins in a row now a victory to go along with it. Do you feel like this has opened the floodgates?
Well, it definitely helps being 19th in points before this race, so it definitely helps. But yeah, it's good to have some momentum on our side for once. And I know we had another rough start to the season, and I think we finally broke out of that now. So I'm really still hurting over last week, but this really makes it feel a lot better.
I mean, Trent, we were kind of seeing a similar situation. I know it wasn't identical, but similar to what happened at Rockingham, where you were dominating a race and then a driver decides to stay out, puts you in a tricky situation on the restarts. Was there fear of that same scenario of seeing a win that you thought you should have had going away here tonight on that second to last restart?
Yeah, if Ollie took the inside, it probably would have been a different story. But he's smart enough to know that on those old tires, he should have been outside or shouldn't even stayed on in the first place. But he went outside and just gave everybody that took new tires and everybody that had been up front that fair shot to go and race for the win. So grateful for that. But besides that, just like last week, if it stayed green, we had him waxed again. So wasn't really too worried about anything unless we had a caution, which we did get, but prevailed through. So happy for that.
You did. Well, congratulations again, Trent, on this win. And before we let you go, the floor is now yours for any shout outs.
First off, gotta thank the man that's been on the hood of this truck for so many of these races that we've lost. Color Teal Graphics, Justin Teal. You guys for broadcasting this deal, the admins for putting it on. I know Noah, my teammate, helped me out on some of them restarts there by taking the inside and letting me get out in front of him. And yeah, that's really it, man.
Well, that is going to be the 46 getting the win here this season. Congratulations on getting the win here at Darlington, and good luck next week for yourself.
Sounds good. See you guys later.
As that's going to be the 46 machine of Trenton Jump. We go to second place to a driver that tried his best to get himself into victory lane, had one opportunity, but it just wasn't enough. We've got that of Nick Crawford with us as well. Nick, you're on camera, man. How are you feeling coming away with the second place finish?
Oh, I'm relieved. It was deja vu of last weekend with that late wreck, and I even said on pit road, I was like, you guys better not take 2 tires over the radio. But then Ollie stayed out. But it worked out this time. For a second, I thought I was gonna get to Trenton, but he was just way too fast on short runs. So good finish overall.
Yeah, Nick, definitely a great finish for you, but I'm loving the throwback look you brought here tonight, even with the cam and the car there for the Corvette style paint scheme. But take us through saving those tires tonight. It seemed like it was very difficult, but you were one of the better at it.
It's tough because you always want to chase the mouse if you're the cat, and it's so hard. That's one of the things I've struggled with a lot, is just saving tires. You have to race yourself and not the people around you, especially at a track like this. That's one lane. And even if you do save tires, it's one thing to catch them, but then you got to pass them. And this is not really a track to pass at. And you kind of just got to fake people or just play chicken into turn 1. And that worked out a few times for me, and some guys were pretty nice and let me go. So sorry that I did that, but it kind of just had to.
Well, Nick, I know tonight, throwback scheme night, you're running a throwback scheme to that of Lightning McQueen. It's an awesome scheme to have, but this was the scheme Lightning had before you had to head over to Fontana. That's the next destination for ourselves. How are you feeling as we're going to Auto Club next week?
Didn't even think about it. Yeah, it started out as an inspiration from the 57 Corvette, and then I think Danny pointed out that it was also the same one that Lightning had. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah. But that sounds good. I think he went on to win. No, he didn't go to win, but he was it was a very nice finish.
He
But
gave up the win.
yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be another tire saving track. I'm just glad to get these good finishes after the first few races. Just top threes. I even told my teammates, I was like, I'm happy if I just finish second at this point. So, and again, congrats to Trenton.
Well, Nick, congratulations on a second place finish for yourself. Before we let you go, though, the floor is yours for any shout outs.
As always, I have to shout out my beautiful wife. She helped me here with the look, did the mustache, did the hair, so I have to thank her for if I look good. She says I do, but I think she's paid to say that. Want to thank you guys for broadcasting. You guys always do a great job. If you could just show me for the entire race, that would be cool. But I appreciate what you guys are doing. And then also I want to thank my teammates. Even if they have a bad race, they're always there rooting me on and always giving advice, letting me know things. And then also I got to thank Ethan for racing me real nice and clean there. He told me he could have taken some chances, but he was really lenient with me, so I appreciate that.
Well, you certainly did look good out there on track and on cam there, Nick, and we cannot wait to see you out there on track next week. Congratulations again, and good luck at Auto Club.
Thank you. See you guys.
As we go from second place, our spotlight driver going to be that of third place finisher of Ethan Smith. And Ethan certainly looked great out there at times, but just coming away shy in third place. Ethan, it's Sam and Zach up at the booth. Come away third, but man, you look like you had some great speed there throughout this race.
Yeah, at the start, I wasn't too comfortable with the truck yet. I do like this track. I liked it as the track went on, or as the race went on. My truck just got better and better, and I got more and more comfortable with it, with how far I can push it or how hard I can push it. I was really playing the long strategy, so saving tires on that first run and passing some people, and then before that second to last caution, I was right behind Ollie for multiple laps, waiting for him to make a mistake, and right when he did, the caution came out. So I was a little upset. I got stuck behind him there, but it was a lot of good racing up there. Deciding to stay out at the stage and not waste a set of tires really helped me with the track position.
Yeah, track position seemed very valuable tonight. So congrats on another good finish here, Ethan. Now 2 weeks in a row in the top three. How does that feel for momentum heading into the next few weeks?
I had some pretty good stretches the last 2 seasons with that. I'm hoping to keep that going. I've had a pretty rough start to, as I said last week at the beginning of the season, I've had a pretty rough start, getting some accidents or just not running the way I've wanted to. I'm hoping to keep the momentum going. Auto Clubs next week. I absolutely love that track. I'm looking for a win there. I'm just hoping to not get caught up in some of these accidents that happen, but lately they've been happening towards the middle, so I'm just hoping to keep qualifying good and staying up front.
Yeah, that's the thing that we're starting to notice is a lot of these accidents, Ethan, are in the middle or late in the race. How is that? Are you able to really plan out? Or are you always thinking of if this race stays green after our stage break? Or are you at this point recognizing that pattern and trying to plan out to the end of the race to make some great plans?
I'm always thinking about it. I'm always thinking of the probability. These corner exits on this track are treacherous. I mean, as we saw, some people slam the wall, a lot of people hitting the wall, my teammates included, some people getting pinched with someone below them. I'm always thinking about that. That's why I'm always on the fence about should I be saving tires or should I be, giving it my all and hoping, I can stay up front and it's not a long green flag run, which I do. I really do like long runs. I think I can save tires probably better. I would like to think better than some people here at certain tracks, but I saved a little too much, I think, on the first run because I had a lot more in it than I gave. And I just wasn't as comfortable with it yet. But on certain tracks like Auto Club, I know it's a ways away, but Bristol on those tracks I'm really confident in. I know I can push the truck a lot further, and just thinking about the probability of what those accidents are, and certain people race a certain way. So I'll sit side by side with someone if I know how they race. Nick Crawford, for example. Appreciate him for the shout he gave me and the thanks he gave me for not, trying to risk us second and third. Certain people I don't mind racing really hard next to, and other people I'm a little more antsy about it, and I'll wait until I get a really good run. I'm always thinking about strategy. Should I pit early? Should I pit late? Should I not pit at all? Should I do 2 tires? It's a constant thing in my mind that I'm talking to with myself and my teammates about.
It's always nice to have teammates to be able to bounce off of. Ethan, congratulations on third place. And before we let you go, the floor is now yours for any shoutouts.
Shout out to my teammates. We worked together when we were out there together. Unfortunately, some people in here made some bad moves. They ended up hit in the wall, getting some damage. They weren't able to, some of them weren't able to continue on. Hopefully their luck can turn around next week. I think as a team we've been doing fairly good so far. But I got momentum rolling. Just want to keep that going. Thank friends, family, fans for watching. You guys for putting the broadcast on. And again, Nick for thanking me for not racing really hard for second and third place. Him and I both had the same idea of just trying to finish this race up in the front. Him and I have had some bad luck. And congrats to Trenton for winning.
That's going to be the double zero of Ethan Smith. Congratulations again, and good luck on trying to go for that win next week.
Thank you.
As we go from third place in these interviews, we get ourselves prepared to look at the unofficial results here tonight and where the drivers finished this evening. A wild race, had plenty of wrecks and carnage. Some drivers had just a nightmare type of a race for themselves. They're going to get prepared and ready for next week as the drivers head to Auto Club to get a lot wider, give each other plenty of space. But for tonight, it was Trenton Jump getting back in that win column, getting his second of career win in the ISRC Truck Series for the 46 machine here at Darlington. His other win was at Watkins Glen. It's nice to get that oval win off of his back. Nick Crawford's going to be getting second place with Ethan Smith third. Matthew Gilliam's won a run for the 28 machine. He'll get fourth. Fifth goes to that of Noah Steele. Cuddy Reed, who took 2 tires on his pit stop, gets some extra track position. He'll finish in 6th. Ollie Fonseca, old tires, still got a top 10 for the 24 and 7th. Dakota Moniz, that of Christopher Norris, and Kyle B. Tate finishing out your top 10.
Great runs for those guys in the top 10, and you gotta give a shout out to, like we were talking about before, Matt Uppbeat there in 11th. I mean, what an excellent job by him. 3 laps down, disconnected early, and got right back in the mix. A lot of good finishes there in the top 15, really, for drivers who were having tough nights overall, but just came home with good ones. As you look farther through the field, I look at some of the guys like Danny Cochran, Cedric Hunter, Mark Whitley back here, 27th, 28th, 29th, all qualified in the top 3. They end up the night almost outside the top 30. So tough breaks for them, but they'll just have to move on to next week and see if they can bounce back.
And re-looking at these finale, I mean, where drivers finished, Zach, 8th all the way down to 14th, all finished 10 positions or higher from where they started tonight. Incredible runs for all those drivers. Again, Darlington, it's more of survival than it is on who's the fastest. And Trenton Jump, one of those that was able to survive and get the win here tonight. Big old congratulations to that 46 machine. As for us here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, it was great giving the coverage on Monday night. Well, we got still a lot more great coverage throughout the week, as tomorrow is going to be that of the Full Send Racing Series as they head to Kansas for one of their longest races based on the mileage going to be ran of their whole entire season. That tomorrow night as the Full Send trucks go to Kansas. Then on that of Wednesday, it's going to be seeing some Auto Club racing as the Wicked Racing League take the next gens to Auto Club. Thursday is going to be seeing that of the 87s. I mean, excuse me, not the 87s, but the Stars of Stripes taking the ARCA cars. Going to be taking those machines to Atlanta. And then on Saturday, the WSSR Roasted Gems Cup Series heads to Texas. A lot of great racing action throughout the week here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. And Zach, man, I cannot wait to see how the rest of the week can give us, if they can cap off or beat what tonight brought us.
Yeah, we definitely got a lot of great action coming up for everybody out there tuning in. And it's been a special few weeks for us here as we've really had a lot of growth out there. So I just personally want to thank everybody out there who's been tuning in each and every night, commenting out there in the chat, liking our, thumbs up in our videos, and really helping everything out. And even if you're out there watching right now and you haven't checked it out yet, make sure you go check out our podcast that we just had come out. Sam did an excellent job on that, and you get a good insight from a lot of the drivers out there that race throughout the leagues, and we can't wait to bring you more of that content.
Hey, I just edited it. You got to interview some drivers. Also, that of Christopher Norris and Trevor Earhart going to be the other people that were interviewees, getting to talk to all the different drivers we get to. Robin Moyer's going to be tagging along on the next episode. I know for myself, I'll be interviewing some drivers. Episode 2 expected to come out in the middle of March. Cannot wait for it, but go look out at that of the Cool Down Lap, episode 1. And for tonight, thank you so much for watching our Darlington coverage of the ISRC Truck Series as Trenton Jump gets the win. And for us here tonight, thank you as always to everyone that helps here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. For myself, Sam Dyer, for Zach Hall, for Robin Moyer Jr., and everyone else that's behind the scenes or gets to do commentating throughout the week. Thank you for watching. We'll see you tomorrow night, the Full Send Racing Series, as they head to Kansas. And cross our fingers, it's not too long, but it's great racing for those trucks. We'll see you tomorrow night. Have a good one.